Is gold and silver about to move 85% higher? So let's get straight into the main chart that I wanted to show you guys. And this came from Tavi Costa from Crescat Capital, gold versus miners. So you see the gold spot price in yellow, and we've actually seen a bit of a breakout in gold and silver in recent times, which is always nice. And the Philadelphia Stock Exchange Gold and Silver Index. Now, what Tavi is saying here is that the miners are undervalued compared to the underlying metal, in which I agree. Although some of the miners, some of our miners have risen quite a little bit off their bottoms, off their lows. I shouldn't say bottoms, should I? And based on this chart, well, Tavi argues that there should be a move for the index of about 85%. Now, those of you who are Finance Uncut Insiders members, well, no, I don't invest in indexes. I do have a income index that I have where I'm just parking some US dollars at the moment. But outside of that, I don't invest in indexes. I invest in individual stocks. But for the average person who doesn't have the time to go to mining conferences, to read drilling reports, and even then, even going to those things doesn't guarantee your success. Investing in individual miners and explorers is probably one of the hardest spaces to get right. Even for the most successful investors, they get it wrong from time to time. In fact, quite often. But when you get it right very big. So, yeah, I thought this was a very interesting chart that I would share. Definitely getting, just recently in the last week, I invested into a nice little junior explorer, which won't talk about because that's for our insiders. But that's quite an exciting little explorer that now has 1 million ounces. So let me say right up, I'm not a chartist. I use charts in the past, but it's not for me. Technical analysis is not my core strength. So take this with a grain of salt. However, here's a chart of US M2 currency supply. Can't say money to gold ratio. Now, what's interesting is right now there is a breakdown. Now, if you look closely where we're at now, you can see that breakdown. But there have been a couple other breakdowns. Well, almost. So what we need to see here is this actually breaking down. And then, based on this chart, there's a nice gold bull market ahead. But for us that are invested in the miners, we don't necessarily need to get this big 700%, huge gold bull market like we did from 2000, 2001 through to 2011. We can just take those smaller ones where gold rose $200 and $800 between those little time periods, and that's going to help the bottom line of our miners who are already cost cutting. And some of our miners that we own have just announced over the next year their forecasts are for their all-in sustaining cost to reduce significantly. And if they can continue to do that while the gold price rises, and the silver price for that matter, then that's more free cash flow that they can generate, which should attract capital into those stocks. And, well, we should get very, very good returns on those stocks. Now, another great chart from Tavi at Crescat Capital is the gold to S&P 500 after yield curve inversions. Now, you guys know that follow this channel. I've been bearish risk on assets. Well, since I first kind of announced that I didn't think the Fed would pivot and that the Fed would actually continue raising rates significantly to fight CPI. And that was back in March and April of 2022. So earlier this year, I jumped ship because of the political reasons of what inflation brings from a political point of view. However, I think that pivot isn't too far away. I think the Fed's going to continue raising a little bit more. There's still a little bit more in there. But the Fed, I don't think is too far away. I think sometime in 2023, we're going to get that liquidity event. We're going to get a, perhaps a sovereign bond crisis, balance of payments crisis outside of the US. And we'll probably see that Dixie spike right up. And, we'll see stock markets absolutely fall. And I've shared a chart in other videos. I should have shared it in this one now that shows actually what is about 28% after a Fed pivot, 28% fall on average in the S&P 500, I think it is, after the Fed pivot. So they only pivot because of huge pain, but it doesn't end straight away. And so, I believe that, and I'm absolutely, that's my core thesis. And well, you guys know also that I talk a lot about the 1973-74 style recession, where the S&P 500 fell 50% nominal terms, yet CPI hit 12.5%. And I see something similar now. This chart right here is just the gold to S&P 500 ratio during that time. So, and then in yellow, we got the gold to S&P 500 ratio return during all prior times when the yield curve first inverted. And, well, gold outperformed the S&P 500 by 72% on average when the yield curve first inverted over a 2-year period. So, I'm absolutely bearish stocks and real estate. Now, when I say stocks, I'm talking, your typical blue chips, your Dow, your growth stocks. I do look for small cap value, and I do look for sectors. Sectors I like are gold, silver, and commodities. And actually, biotech, they've been smashed down as well. A lot of biotechs are severely undervalued that we're looking at right now. We've got a couple of biotechs. We're looking at a few more at the moment. So even with that bearish outlook, history suggests that gold is a good place to park. It really is a safe haven. I've shared this chart over and over again, but once again, performance of hedges in market sell-offs, you can go through all those different time periods, even further updated since then, and compare the stock market and bond yields and gold. And, gold outperforms in all these types of scenarios. And I think it's pretty clear that we're going into a global recession in 2023. And, I think that liquidity event and perhaps a sovereign bond crisis isn't too far away. And once again, I've shared these charts as well, but this is why I like investing in gold miners and silver miners as well. In fact, you could argue that silver miners on a percentage basis actually outperforms gold in both a gold and silver bull market. Now, for those of you about to throw something at the screen right now, I am fully invested in physical metal. Okay. I have part of my portfolio. I have physical metal that's nearby, and that's my insurance. That's I'll never sell that stuff. That's if, Armageddon happens, if systems go down, and perhaps I may need to use that. Maybe there's some businesses out there that will accept that for payment for goods and services. And by the way, for most people that save about 3 to 6 months worth of expenses in their emergency account or whatever, for me it's 3 years. Okay, so I've got a lot of that. Then I've got a whole heap of other gold and silver physical, which I will sell because I use wealth cycles. And I've done videos on that, so if you don't understand that, go have a look. In fact, I'll put a link in the description below where I've used wealth cycles to create even more wealth, where I go into precious metals and then I move into other assets. Then I sell those assets and move back into precious metals and so forth and so forth. So, yeah, I'm not just a gold mining investor or speculator. I do own the physical metal, okay, and I own probably more than most people that I know anyway. So, yeah. And just once again, so during these gold and silver bull markets, the miners, if you get the right miners, they severely outperform the underlying metal. And I've got a lot of metal, but I want that asymmetric returns. And you can certainly get that if you get the right gold and silver miners, and then explorers even larger. And once again, our insiders members, you'll see the chart that I share each week of the market cap, the share price performance on market cap within this sector. And you guys know the particular sector that I target and why, because of the returns from that sector. I won't speak too much about that because that's for our insiders, but that's the target market within the gold and silver mining space that I like to invest in, because that's where you get your big returns from. And I've shared this chart before of Saracen. Once again, and this is the power of investing in gold and silver miners. Saracen in June 2013 was trading at 8 cents. Obviously, they've now merged, so they're not around today. But $10,000 investment in 2013 would be $745,000 today. So, you know, I see a lot of people that have been in the last 2 years just screaming crypto, and if you're not in crypto, have fun staying poor. Or, you know, a lot of investors, they just want to buy something and see it just go, you know, 100-bagger type stuff. Well, have a look at the gold and silver exploration space. There's been a lot of riches made in this space. Northern Star's another example. July 2010, trading at 5 cents. You know, these are huge profits. Now, this is an older chart, so this is you know, from a presentation I did back in 2020. But you get the gist. So in 10 years, put $10,000. Be patient. 10 years. Most people don't have that sort of patience, and you got almost $3 million. And I've shared for us, one of our better performing explorers that we bought was Chalice. And in early 2020, it was trading at 17 cents. I think it ended up trading higher than 10.48. I haven't had a look at it since we sold it. We don't even look at it. But we did put $10,000 into that. And we sold at $4.33. So we sold it for $254,000. Thank you very much. And you know, this is why we like trying to find, and we have fun with this too. Like I get a lot of enjoyment going to mining conferences. I'm always learning, reading drill reports. It's like a game. And then, you know, you've got, you know, I look at maybe 30, 50 companies and they all look great. And out of that, I've got to narrow it down and choose some. And some I miss. Yeah, some I miss. Some I don't get into, and you know, they get a great drill discovery, and away it goes, and we miss out. But that's the fun and enjoyment that I have in this space. So, yeah, look, if any of you guys still want to join Finance Uncut Insiders, we're still taking members. It is a weekly report where we share our portfolio, our research. We share all the announcements, all the updated drilling results of our portfolio when we're buying, when we're selling. Share some of my commentary on, how I see the global economic outlook and financial markets, and a bit of geopolitics, and I have a bit of a whinge and a bit of a rant. And yeah, if you guys want that, for an annual subscription, it is $365 US for that annual subscription, which is sent out every Tuesday morning, Brisbane, Australia time. So if you guys are interested in that, send us an email to the email address below on the screen, and we'll get back to you. Let us know where you're from too, what jurisdiction, because we'll send different payment options depending on where you're from. If you're from the US or Europe or New Zealand or Australia or Canada or wherever you're from, let us know when you send us that email, and we'll send you further information. So anyway, guys, that's it for me in this video. Next video, I'm actually going to share my price predictions for silver and gold for 2023, and when are we going to see $100 silver. And I've got a little bit to say with that, and I've got a few charts to share with you guys. So stay tuned for that one next week. Anyway, guys, if you like this video, please hit that like button. Really do appreciate it. Take care, and I'll see you all again on another episode of Finance Uncut. And just a reminder, the information provided in this video is for education and entertainment purposes only. Nothing on this channel constitutes as financial advice. The information in this presentation is no substitute for financial advice, and all investors should seek advice from a licensed financial advisor having regard to your own objectives, financial situation, and needs.